Expressive versus shy. Two words typically used to describe people, but today we're not going to be looking at people. What we'll be looking at today is something about wine. Now, go figure that. A sommelier talking about wine. Okay, so today we're going to ask and hopefully answer the question, pumping iron or sipping latte in your favorite coffee shop? Which is better? Actually, I mean, expressive wines versus shy wines. Which is better? So, what is expressive wine and what is shy wine and which is better? Keep in mind, at any time if you like what you hear, click like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you'll be notified when there's a new post. Also, make sure you share this with a friend. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. You might want to stick around for a short, sweet, valuable bonus at the end. Before we determine which is better, the first thing we want to do is figure out what expressive means and what shy means. It's like me asking, which coffee drinking guy is better, this guy or me? To make that determination, you have to dig in. You have to get to know something about what's inside. You have to learn about whether the man is expressive or shy, and you have to determine what you prefer. Now, back to wine. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that there are shy wines and expressive wines only. I'm talking about a continuum from very shy all the way to fully or very expressive. You know, a wine's expressiveness has to do with both the nose, the smell of the wine, and the palate, the flavor or taste of the wine. You should be asking yourself, is it easy or difficult to smell or taste what's in the glass? Some wines seem to jump right out of the glass at you, while others are more difficult to get a handle on. Expressive wines are clear and focused. Shy wines seem to have less smell or flavor. They seem muted and diffused. While we're at it, let's go ahead and start with the shy. Some synonyms for shy that you'll hear people who are tasting wines say are closed, or inexpressive, shut down, muted, awkward, austere, and tight. Most of these terms mean about the same thing. These are wines that are not showing much character. Something to keep in mind is that sometimes a young wine will appear muted or overpowered by the alcohol, tannins, or acidity. Typically, this is only a temporary situation. Also, if the wine resolves itself with time or with some aeration by maybe decanting it or both, it's common to say it has opened up or simply it has become more expressive or aromatic. That leads us to expressive wines. On the nose, when you smell it, it's something like a spritz of perfume or as flamboyant and talkative as my auntie after having a couple at a wedding. or that friend, you know the one, you say about them, my, aren't they expressive? Instead of saying, they just won't shut up. Some additional words you'll hear are open, fragrant, aromatic, intense, exuberant, lively, vibrant, animated, showy, substantial, bountiful. Oh, and here's the one Miss Tucker, my 8th grade English teacher, would absolutely love. Magnanimous. How are you doing there? Is this information making sense? If it is, write Asti in the comments below. Now, let me shift gears here. Have you ever had a sip of wine and thought, gosh, I love this wine, or this really resonates with me, or something like that? That's how many wine lovers pick out their favorite wine. They go with their gut, with something that they just get. If you think about it, this can actually tell you a bit about yourself and about your personality. Newsweek, the magazine, has put together an interesting article that looks at 7 types of wine and what they might say about someone's personality. For example, do you love Cabernet Sauvignon? Then you are what they call the Stoic. Here's what they have to say. Cabernet Sauvignon was conceived by accident, blending a red Cabernet Franc grape with a white Sauvignon Blanc grape. That was easy for me to say. It has a thick, durable skin, which makes it resistant to any outside conflict. It has abundant levels of tannin, which allows the wine to be stored for a long time and still develop its flavor. It's mostly recommended to be drunk with food rather than on its own, as it has an overwhelming mouthfeel. Like cabs, you can have a strong personality, unfazed by conflict, and frequently full of wisdom. You're not as affected by outside forces and can thrive in solitude. You can easily adapt to new surroundings and can even stand out. In an ideal situation, your strengths can be cultivated. People welcome you to be part of their circle, but would rather interact with you in a group setting more than with you alone. Many people consider you to be an authority in what you do. There are people who would love to know more about you, and even if they are a few, they're the ones that you'll cherish and will definitely be for keeps. I think it's a fun article. I encourage you to check it out. So, which coffee drinker or type of wine is best? Expressive or shy? It's up to your own personality type and personal taste. So experiment around to figure out what you like and let me know your favorite, plus how you came across it. Well, there you have it. You're now all set to hold your own as you talk about expressive and shy wines at your next wine get-together. Hang in there for the quick bonus at the end, the proper etiquette in clinking your wine glasses. But first, thanks so much for investing the time to watch this video. If you got something out of this episode, let me know in the comments below. Also, hit subscribe and the little bell to be notified when I post new videos. And share this video if it was helpful to you. I'd really appreciate it. Alright, are you ready for the bonus? There are tons of theories floating around out there about the tradition of clinking wine glasses. I'm just going to hit on 2 quick ideas. Number 1, the origin of this tradition, and number 2, the right way to do it. First, as much as I hate to say it, there's no clear answer that I could find to explain the beginning of this tradition. But there's one theory which is my favorite. It goes something like this. As kings or rulers would gather together to drink and discuss foreign affairs, they'd be apprehensive to someone poisoning their beverage. So these untrusting kings, adversaries, or leaders would take their full wine glass or beer stein and clink them together, allowing the wine or beer to splash into the other guy's glass. If your host or counterpart drank the commingled wine or beer, you could rest knowing that it had not been poisoned. Okay, now onto the etiquette. As you clink your glasses, you're to look your toasting partner in the eyes. That's just good manners. Now, if there are multiple people, look at each person whose glass you touched. A slight nod would be appropriate. Looking at this a little differently, you wouldn't dance with someone and look over their shoulder or away from them the whole time you're dancing, would you? Well, actually, second thought, don't answer that question. But you get the idea, right? Okay, now you're all set to discuss this with your friends at your next weekend gathering or wine tasting. Hey Posse, thanks so much for investing the time to watch this video. I trust it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And please consider hitting subscribe. Now, if you're interested in buying some wines, check out this link. We've got some wonderful discounts. And be sure to check out these other videos. Until next time, cheers.